Hey everyone, I'm here with Robyn Whaples, who is a Sandwich High School alumni actually, and a digital artist from New York City currently. And you graduated from the Savannah School of Design. What was that, a couple
Yeah,
years ago?
yeah, 2018,
2018?
SCAD, Savannah
Yep.
College of Art and Design.
Oh, cool, cool. And then you want to give a little intro about where you were at just before all this kind of happened?
Yeah, so I'm a Cape Cod right now, with my family. And before that, I was in New York City, and I work for, I'm a freelance motion designer for CBS Sports, and I was living in Brooklyn. And I had like a strange happening of events to end up back on Cape Cod.
Wow, yeah. I
But
usually
yeah, I
always
was
like
in New
to
York.
I always like to start this off, and now it's kind of hard because it's been like 6 weeks plus into this. But can you go back to the beginning a little bit as you talk about the strange
Yeah.
events?
It's actually very vivid memory because so as I said, I'm a motion designer for CBS Sports, and we were just getting ready for March Madness, if you've heard of that, which is the basketball tournament. And it was a really interesting sequence of events in which I was actually doing Muay Thai like the week we were we were prepping for like the week of March Madness, and I was like being told of how crazy this is gonna be. And I was at Muay Thai that I've been doing,
Uh-huh.
and I was talking to my fellow participants, and I was like telling them, oh, I might not be around as much because I'm gonna have overtime with this.
Mhm.
And they were like, well, what is that? And I said, oh, it's a college basketball. And they said, well, isn't it going to be canceled because of everything going on? And this is before it was ramping up. And
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. I guess that's a good point. And then the next day we went into the office and we had to have our usual conversation, like Wednesday meetings.
Sure.
And we're being told. And then my creative director was like, so the tournament might be canceled. And so it literally happened like that. And then
Which is
later that
insane
day
for March Madness to get canceled.
yeah, it was like the work environment was really it was just the same as it would normally be.
Yeah.
And because we didn't know what to think of it, because we didn't know, we you would think we'd be the first to be told, but something I've learned while working in media is that sometimes you find out before and not you find out like after everything happens. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, all of a sudden you read about it and you're like, oh, and then you go into work and they're like, so and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the best way to explain it. But so literally later that day, we had another meeting, and we were kind of being prepared as much as possible.
Mhm.
If there's one thing that CBS has been really good about, it's been like their communication.
Oh, that's great.
That's just really nice because there's
Yeah.
horror stories out there, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah, in
you
the
know what,
media
it's been pretty
industry.
nice. Yeah. So they were telling us as much as they would know, especially on the chance that someone was there's a confirmed case. Throughout the like leading up to this, there's been tons of posters promoting washing your hands, and
Yeah.
they upped the cleanliness of the building,
Mhm.
which is very appreciated. And so later that day, with the discussion of will this be canceled or not, we were told what will happen if it's canceled, theories on that, or what happens if there's a case. And then an hour after that, my creative director ran in and was like, are you guys evacuating? And we were all like, we had our headphones in and we were just like working away. And then
Yeah.
she was like, there's 2 confirmed cases in this building. We need to leave. I'm like,
Oh my
oh.
God. Wow.
So, and actually the fun fact I like to tell people is if you watch John Oliver on one of his COVID-19 cases that he's done,
Yeah.
on one of the early ones where he was like, if you notice, I'm in a different building. And then he showed a broadcasting building on his show, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's my building.
Oh,
That's the
that was
one
the
that
bill. Oh my
yeah
gosh.
yeah It's like, there's my building.
Patient zero
Yeah,
there. That was early on.
great. Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Jeez.
so
And you got out
with
of, did
that happening,
you were healthy and everything after that?
yeah,
Yeah.
so the yeah, and even with coming to, one thing I want to say is, even with coming to Cape Cod, now it was like the buildup for me happened before a lot of other people I've talked to, so I was taking this a lot more seriously before.
Yeah.
Maybe, everyone takes it in their own strides because it impacts people differently. I'm not
Sure.
gonna, yeah. And even upon coming to Cape Cod with that decision to leave New York and come to Cape Cod, because my job ended up going remote with the evacuation of the building and
Mhm.
such. And the people who were in direct contact with the people who were, in fact, had the cases, they were told about and told to quarantine.
Yeah.
But even with that being so, and even this was like right before And then I think the next day when I was waiting to be told if we could go back into the building, the tournament got canceled. So that was like the sequence of events as best as I could say. So then, and
Like,
then
things
we
just
were being told
escalating.
that, yeah, it
Yeah.
escalated. And that's when I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. And so
Yeah.
I'm like talking to all my other friends who are from other states, and they're like not getting hit as hard yet. And they're like, I
Yeah.
don't know about it. And I'm like, no, you're going to this is a big deal. This is something else. And yeah, so as I was saying, sorry, with the decision, with my job going remote and me deciding I don't want to be in New York because this is a very dense population.
Yeah.
This is going to be a little, so then my mom came and got me. She's
Oh
mom
my
of the
God.
year.
That was very proactive and
brought me
smart.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did it before, and then it was funny because when we came back, there's a lot of concerns, since I was in New York and there's like case in the building. It's
Sure.
like, I have it. Like, what's the conversation on that? At first, there was a concern with that, with what my mom does for work and everything.
Right.
And then when that kind of went down, then it was a decision. Okay, let's go get me. And then I was like quarantined for 14 days. I was like told to stay away.
Yeah.
And it's funny because then like 2 weeks later, after when I pretty much was done, all of a sudden a lot of states started saying, hey, if you come from New York, you need to quarantine for 14 days.
So that is awesome.
Yeah.
You
So
were
I
on it.
beat them to the punch. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like, already quarantined, already good.
Wow,
So,
Robyn, that was
yeah.
a great move to do.
Yeah, so I was trying to, I had a feeling it was going to get, it just, and my mom kind of works with hospitals and stuff. She kind of was the one who was calling me being like, this is going to get bad. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay. So yeah, she was, everyone's hit in different stages, but I will say amongst my friends, at least, I was the one who was kind of like, guys, you got to start preparing yourself because this is probably going to be a minute.
Yeah, I mean, that was incredibly smart now because New York basically imploded, and now it's so good to be out of the city.
Oh yeah, I totally bounced out of there. To me, the mentality was, if I want fresh air, like my house is kind of the house I grew up in is kind of secluded, so I can just walk outside into the woods and social distance myself. And while in New York, in my apartment in Brooklyn, that was not going to happen. So, and yeah,
it's crazy. I mean, I live on Cape Cod too, and a lot of my friends and groups kind of want to leave the Cape, but now it's kind of reverse, where the Cape is kind of a nice place to be during this time because we can go outside, go to the beach, so much space to just like, be around but not be like compacted with people, which is great. So must be a nice change for you.
It is very nice. And and people can drive their cars to the canal and not even step out, but just like watch the water.
Right.
You just don't have that. And I don't have it's not like you have, most of people in New York, they don't have cars. They travel through the subway system. And even when it wasn't ramping up, you could see a slow progression of people wearing masks on the subway. It didn't start that way. And then all of a sudden you see one person, then two, and then, I'm certain, even when I was leaving, when I had left, I think it was starting to, now it's everyone. Now it's a forced, everyone needs to wear a mask when they're outside.
And then,
but it was, it was insane.
How are people like getting around? I mean, like you said before, we can get in our cars and have that. But like in New York City, most people don't. You didn't have a car. And like, were taxis? I mean, I guess you left kind of before things got really bad. But
I did, yeah.
Are there still taxis going on there or not really?
I don't have an answer for that one. I feel for some people, I feel like it's a necessity.
I bet.
But I have my roommate who's still there, just doesn't, there's a bodega on the corner. So he just gets the necessity food and drinks and like milk from there. Yeah. I think he's been even doing like a food service to deliver to him to get, so he doesn't have to leave.
Wow.
And then my other two friends who are still there, they have a car. So they've taken their car and driven into Manhattan to see it.
Oh my gosh.
It's nice.
I've seen photos and stuff. Yeah, it must be so bizarre. So in the city now.
And having been there, like, because the CBS broadcasting building is near Columbus Circle. So
nice.
So it's in like the center. It's kind of near the big park that Central Park.
Central Park, yeah.
It's like I'm like, what's that place called again? I work. Some people ask me how New York is, and I'm like, I work. I'm surviving. I don't live in New York. I survive in New York. But that was always so packed and everything. And it's just, when I see pictures now, I'm like, I walked through there when it's been crowded streets, and it's insane. Yeah,
it's so weird. It must be awesome to drive through and check it all out.
Yeah, my two friends, they just moved there too. They like just moved there a couple months ago. Yeah, and they were yeah, they moved for the film industry, which is
Oh,
down.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
My
mean,
roommate
well,
was
that's cool, but it's
yeah.
bad now, yeah, because there's nothing going on.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
Those are
true.
all yeah, it's been insane. A lot of my friends are alumni, so a lot
Yeah.
of them have a lot of situations with like layoffs and such, so on and so forth
Can you
because of
now
the industry.
talk a little bit about that regarding your own work? Because are you
Mhm.
still working remotely with CBS as far as?
So, so the way I work with CBS is I'm a freelancer, so it's like a
Mhm.
contract situation. So even upon getting the position, I knew that there was going to be an off season,
Mhm.
which is around now, which is now on a normal schedule, on a non-COVID-19 schedule.
Yeah.
From what I was informed, is that there's going to be 2 months where I wasn't going to be scheduled or
Okay.
so. I was like, okay, so because as freelancers, the way it works, a little insight into that is because I mean you've done freelance work
Sure.
too, but
Yeah. A bit.
yeah, where you can do stuff on the side. But I guess for people who don't know, is usually you're employed to work for a certain amount of time. So it's like,
Mhm.
hey, we have this project. The studio has a specific project. Can we hire
Okay.
you for a couple months?
Yeah.
But my position is more like a permalance. So it's like I'm permanently freelancing with
Yeah, because
them.
you go into the office, it
Yeah.
sounded like.
Yeah. So actually, a lot of freelancers still go into offices
Oh,
and
okay.
such. Yeah. So it's yeah, it's an interesting. I'm still very new to it and everything, but
Yeah.
yeah. So as a permalancing position, you you're pretty much just, instead of saying, oh, we have this project that's going to last a month, can you be on it, and then we'll see from there, they're
Mhm.
pretty much like, this is our season schedule, and then there might be some off time.
Yeah.
So with or they just hire you every month.
Right.
So with CBS Sports, I knew there was going to be some off time, so I was like prepping for that,
Mhm.
whether it would be to get some additional work or to work on some personal projects, and just to like make sure that I was financially stable to take like a hit for like 2 months. So I'm actually off the schedule. Like I just ended the schedule. This is like my first week off schedule.
Okay.
So otherwise, up until Friday, I was still being scheduled, which there was a big concern for a lot of the freelancers, and I'll give CBS credit for this, where uh, essentially as a freelancer, they could have just been like, "Oh, tournament's canceled. You guys have no work
Right,
because
and
this
just threw you
isn't."
to the side, yeah.
Yeah. So, but they've been very promoting, and I'm trying to think what's confidential, what's not, but they've been very, you know, when you work for a big corporate
Yeah,
company, it's
right.
like, I'm glad I don't work for Disney, because that'd be
Yeah. The marketing team would be
concerned.
after you. Yeah.
I was like, what can I talk about? But no, they've been very good about promoting. I feel like this is a very, I don't know, I feel like it's, I don't know why they'd hide this, but they've been
Yeah.
very much, we're trying to be a family oriented, a company that's for their workers, and they're trying their best. They phrase it as a fair business, not an on budget business.
Okay.
And so that's how they've been phrasing it.
That's
So
awesome. I mean, it's
yeah,
awesome to
so
hear
they
big
yeah,
companies acting, good to their employees.
yeah.
That's always nice to hear.
Yeah, I can't say anything. No, I will not say anything bad about it. They've been really, it's been really nice working with them. And there was even thoughts where we weren't even sure how going remote was going to be possible
Yeah.
at first. You know, a lot of industries, they like the old company I used to work for with, I'm pretty sure they went remote right away. So I used to work for Vice News, and
Mhm.
I heard through the grapevine that they went right away and they were able to do it. But I know for CBS, it was some people could, but
Mhm.
our computers and our stuff is like right in our studio, so we were
Yeah.
technically essential. So we weren't sure how it was going to work, and our IT just got on it, and they just made it happen. And
Wow.
so we managed to do it. So we're
Yeah.
getting work done, because there's still work that needs to be done. So
Sure.
that was something that was being talked about. So now it's all in the hands of so the way COVID's going to impact it now is normally there might be a little bit more time off, because it's
Yeah.
actually early for me to be off schedule, but
Mhm.
it depends on golf and NFL and everything that happens from there.
Right. The other
So
sports. Yeah.
yeah. So, but as a freelancer, I'm always prepared. I have this mentality. I don't know if it's good or bad. I always have this mentality of like, well, I can get laid off at any minute, because they could just be like, we don't need you. So I've always kind of had that preparation in mind, to be prepared for
It's probably a
if I
good
need
thing.
to be moving.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just to always kind of have plan
yeah,
B set up, ready to
yeah.
go, because you never know with the economy, and especially something like this where no one prepared for it, you kind of have to be able to bounce back and make a living.
Yeah, so I feel that was like a different mentality between me and then my friends who got more, I guess, salaried positions, like
Mhm.
permanent positions,
Yeah,
where it's now they're in a situation where some of them, one of my friends actually got let go from his position, and now he's like, oh, now I'm looking for a job. Wow,
right, yeah.
this is all happening, and so it's interesting the difference with the mentality of like, okay, I've been prepping for this, so if I am in a null for a minute, I've like prepared myself for this.
Right,
So
yeah.
yeah.
That's really good to have. So have
Hmm.
you been able to do like a lot of work from Cape and from your home still? Like regarding CBS or any sort of personal stuff or whatever? I know because you're a very creative person in general. You're always
Yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, I will say, yeah, the state of life, you need creativity to kind of
yes, yeah.
keep prepping yourself. I took a little bit of a minute to just step back and just like reevaluate myself. And I also just, to figure out the whole remote process for CBS. But now
Yeah.
that I'm hitting a null with them, I'm trying to get a couple of other projects. I had a friend of a friend contact me for some logo stuff, and then
Mhm.
I've had um SCTV contact me for some
Right,
stuff.
yeah.
So yeah, so that's been nice, and I have a couple of other options to maybe reach out. But I did kind of, when I was expecting this to happen, I wanted to have some time to also do some personal stuff, which I'll be looking forward to as May approaches.
Yeah.
So I want to get these remote things done and get all of that out of the way and then move forward. And it would be nice to get a switch from what I was doing for CBS, and then that's the nice thing about freelancing too, is you
Yeah.
can go between jobs, and there's a different kind of, you have to the creative mind, you have to keep it engaged in different activities, otherwise it can become mundane, and it's almost, you don't continue to exercise your knowledge,
Mhm.
and so that's my hope with like additional projects. So I'm trying to, yeah, optimistic side of trying to get more personal work done.
That's awesome.
And
I
then
always
yeah,
talk about with like
yeah,
film field and like digital creation is that you can do like you're doing CBS Sports, but then you can do stuff for Sandwich TV, and then you have doing logo. There's like a whole
yeah,
plethora of things you can go into in so many genres, which is great within this field.
yeah.
It's
So
sharpen it.
I'm hoping to yeah, I'm very much hoping to work on some extra stuff and to build my portfolio more, so I can keep growing and everything.
Yeah.
And then yeah, other than that, I also play guitar. So I've
Oh
been
yeah.
playing a lot of that. Yeah. So I've been writing a lot, and I want to try and learn more about that side of things, like the music production. So that's something I was going to take some time to do
Sure. Yeah.
with
We
all
should do
this.
some we should
Yeah.
do some social distance music sessions like we did in the studio. We could do them like outside or something.
Yeah.
That would be
That'd be,
sweet to
yeah.
like set up a boom mic or something on you. Then you just jam it out. That'd be awesome.
just like this. I have a
Yeah.
friend. Do you remember Calvin Cutler?
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Yeah, so he's in Vermont doing working as a correspondent, and he was telling me the other day how he was doing an interview with someone where she was on her porch and he was like feet away on the phone doing an interview that way.
Oh my
And it
gosh.
was, yeah, it was super, it was a crazy story, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's like, cause I was like, oh, have you been using Zoom a lot? And he's like, actually I've been able to avoid it
Yeah.
because so
Yeah, I feel like that's the silver lining with things like this is that people get really creative on ways to go around it. Still follow the rules, but I feel like that's where the biggest creativity comes from, is when you're pushed against the wall. You're forced to kind of think
yeah,
outside the box. Yeah, which is
yeah,
great.
that's definitely, yeah, I feel like a lot of people have been, they're trying to make the best out of this unfortunate
Yeah,
situation,
yeah, yeah.
while they're still still trying to, by staying in, protecting other people who could, yeah,
It's good. Yeah, it's
so
great. So I guess kind of to wrap this up, I usually give a lot of the people have like businesses or they work for artist associations or whatever. So I give them a chance to kind of give a final message of like what they want to see from people or what they've seen and they really love, anything like that. I don't know, from just a kind of a last message from you about the whole
like
topic.
seeing,
Yeah,
oh
like
wait,
a lot of
so
people like loved how they see like a lot of support from people going to local businesses still. Like we should keep supporting artists. We should, get outside and just do things. Any sort of like perspective on your thing, which something maybe almost like a point of encouragement, or maybe something you've already seen and you liked what you saw.
yeah, so I know a lot of people it's nice seeing people go to local restaurants and everything. I think I'll take the creative approach, where it's like, I feel like during this time, what I would love to see is for people to take up the activities that they've wanted to do for a while. If they haven't painted for a while, paint. If you haven't picked up an instrument and you want to pick up the instrument, take this time to, because and it's just the idea of staying home and just protecting those other people, and just taking the time to that, and taking the time to be creative, though, to learn something new. Because I feel like if a lot of people end up hitting this wall when they're stagnant, when they're not engaging in and I find that creativity is a very helpful way, because it can seem, with all the information out there and all the uncertainty, I know I feel very overwhelmed by it a lot of times. So, and I know some people don't have the ability to help others by, reaching out to artists or to, you can support all you want, but I know some people are kind of in these, almost feels like a hole. And I find that being creative is sometimes the best method to get out of that. So whether it's learning something new or picking something back up that you haven't touched in a while. So
Absolutely,
I know, like a buddy of mine picking up his ukulele. So, or for me, it's like, if I feel most in a rut, always picking up my guitar and playing and going from there. So I guess it's just appreciating the arts, in your own kind of isolation.
Yeah.
Because then you feel less isolated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Being creative. And
I
just think like the arts really help pull you out in a way, where it's kind of like if you feel down.
Yeah. Because I know with the idea of, it opens up a whole new world, right? So it's like when you're creative, it's like a whole nother kind of, I don't want to say like dimension, but it's if you're isolated in your studio, all of a sudden, if you're painting, you could be creating a whole landscape. Or with music, it takes you on a journey or a story. So, or pick up a camera that you haven't had in a while and just make a fun film or something. So and especially right now where who knows, you can just go ahead and post what you have, because for a lot of people it's going to be that's all we can do right now.
Is get like posted and go online and check what other people are doing. It's in the world to be doing the things that we've always talked about doing, so we have time.
Right. So that's been the nice thing about this is the ability to it is kind of nice that I wish this never happened. Obviously you don't wish this upon it, but it is kind of nice where it's like we're in this day and age of technology when this does happen, in which we can connect to those people who we miss and love, or check in on people we haven't, or we can have services delivered to us to help restaurants and everything. So
Absolutely.
Or we can donate. It's kind of that's the fortunate part.
I know that this didn't happen 10 years ago or something like that, where we didn't have all this access.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cool. Well, Robyn,
I hope that summed up your question.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That was so much. And then no one had the insight that you have by being in New York City and, working remotely as you've had in the past and now. But I really appreciate you talking with me. And can't wait to see what you have for Sandwich TV. I recall talking about it. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be good. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet it will. All right. Well, I'll hopefully see you soon, Robyn.
All right. Take care.
Yeah.